There's all these ugly feelings and stuff going on from my childhood that showed up here. And there's some truth to that, but I think I never got from you going, I was feeling lazy and tired, and I just wanted to get you to be quiet.
The real problem was whenever you would overreact, you had no excuse.
Yes.
So you were just being a jerk. And even if it is a triggering instance, it still doesn't give me the right to be a jerk.
It's a reason, but it's not an excuse.
Yes.
Because a reason saying, here's why I'm reacting this way. An excuse is, I'm not responsible for that.
In all of the good times and even the trials, through tears and through laughter, yeah, I know that I'll smile when I think of you. Smile for the things you do. Smile, God gave me you. You are a reason I smile. Yeah.
This is Behind Our Smiles.
Pursuing connection.
And finding joy.
Even in the struggle. So, Joe, this morning I found your shoe, one shoe, sitting by itself right in the middle of the living room. I don't know how it even got there. Why'd you throw your shoe?
I promise you, I didn't hop on one foot and kick my shoe off in the living room. That is a common occurrence these days.
Every day.
And I think it's an affection. It is almost every day. I think it's an affection of the dog because there are no teeth marks on the shoes. They're not harmed at all.
The dog moved your shoe.
I am almost positive that the dog, it's not just my shoe. Sawyer's shoe, your shoe.
We've never seen the dog move the shoe, though.
We've never seen the dog do it at all. But that's the only, it's right in the middle of the floor, just sitting upright. And I think what is happening is the dog knows the shoes are associated with the walk.
Okay.
We typically have our coffee in that room in the winter months. So, because it's in the living room, I'm thinking the dog thinks if it can bring the shoe where I'll trip over it, I'll be reminded to take the dog for
she wants to go out.
A walk.
Yeah.
I don't even think she wants to go out. I think she wants to go for a walk. I think that's what she's trying to say is, hey, owner, here's your shoe.
The first time it happened, I'm like, who's leaving their shoe right in the middle of the room?
To trip over. And doesn't leave it in the kitchen.
No.
Doesn't leave it in the family room.
Only
it's
one.
just the living room, and it's only one shoe. So either A, she forgets what she's doing, or at least that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I don't remember dropping any shoe in the middle of the living room. Hi, we're Joe and Tara Buchanan. This is the Behind Our Smiles Marriage Podcast. We're so glad you're hanging out with us today.
And we love hearing from you. We especially love hearing what makes you smile about your husband or wife. What makes me smile about my dog is that she leaves shoes in random places. It doesn't chew them.
Today we're hearing from Marissa, actually about her husband, Chris. And Marissa says that Chris works hard to make sure that our kids have memorable experiences. Even though he is more of a tangible person, he also works at becoming a better man to avoid inflicting the trauma of our kids that he went through, or the trauma that he went through on their kids. I really appreciate that, Chris. Thank you, Marissa, for sharing that. And if you want to share what makes you smile about your husband or wife, it's real easy. Yeah, you can email us, Tara, T-A-R-A, at behindoursmiles.com.
So last week we talked about the importance of doing your homework. It's a little
Glad
PSA
we're moving on from that.
to all the students out there. It's important to do your homework, start good habits, learn the skills, all the good reasons to do your homework. But sometimes you don't do your homework.
And the dog ate it.
And you say the dog ate my homework.
Yep, just like it moved our shoe.
Dogs have been known to eat things they shouldn't eat.
You know, somewhere along the line, that was a legitimate excuse.
I'm sure there's a dog somewhere who did.
The very first time that excuse was used, it was a legit. And someone in the room needed that excuse later and went, that seemed to work.
Yes.
I should try that.
Because dogs really do eat things they shouldn't eat.
Right.
And so then the homework's gone and you're off the hook. And you go to school and you're fine because you can just blame it on the dog.
The problem is when the dog really does eat your homework, the teacher does not believe you.
Yeah.
That's the only problem.
It's too late.
Yeah.
So it's hard though when you realize that you didn't do something that you should have done.
Yeah.
And you were supposed to do your homework. We discussed that before, and you didn't do it. And your teacher
Why are you looking at me like
collects it.
that?
Just saying, some people are better at homework than others. And you're supposed to do your homework, and the teacher collects it. And it's like, hello, your homework, please turn it in. And you're like, talk about homework. And you're just confronted with that, like, whoops. At least I guess some people are confronted with it. Some people maybe don't care. I felt like,
I've literally heard, I don't know what you call that, other students or teammates or friends or peers or whatever, other students in classes I've been in say their dog ate their homework and they don't even have a dog. So
Yes, exactly.
I've actually heard that before.
But how about times, though? Maybe not in a school when your teacher's collecting your homework, but when you didn't do the work you need to do to be prepared, maybe even at work, right? Did you read that report you're supposed to read and can give a summary of that assignment, or in any situation where someone asked you to do something, be prepared for something, you're in the room with all the people and you don't.
Oh, I got to tell you, it's almost like the spotlight is on you. Intense. No one else may even notice,
I
but
didn't do it.
even opening the book where everybody's getting their homework out, there's a movie from the 80s. I can't think of the name of it, but there's a scene in that movie where he didn't do his homework, or he pulls it out of his pocket and it's got gum on it. He's unwrapping it, and everybody else is pulling out their computers, their printers, their Filofax. That's how it feels. It really does feel like, oh, I failed.
Embarrassing.
And I think what the worst feeling, though, is not necessarily in the class, because you realize in that moment, well, there's not a lot I can do about it. It's when you realize about 10 minutes before the class starts that you didn't do your homework.
You are not ready for whatever it is you're supposed to do.
Or the meeting's about to start and you haven't brought what you were supposed to.
There's times that happens because you got the wrong date. You're like, I thought that was next week. It's this week. I'm not prepared. There's other times you knew good and well, and you just did not do the work. And you're like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it later. And then you realize, and so then people are looking at you. Hey, where's the thing you said you'd do? We're waiting for the report. We're waiting for the
Now, see, my problem
whatever it is, and
I'm so paranoid about that I if I get an assignment that's due in 3 weeks, I'll start it right away. My problem
so
is
you're good at homework.
No, but I'll start it. That's my problem. I'll
Yes.
get distracted, go do other things, and then I forget about it. I almost think I've got it done because and then I'll look at it like right before, and I'll be like, oh, I didn't necessarily
I'm not quite ready.
complete
So
that.
then comes out our list of excuses. So if you're not sure what excuses, first you say my dog ate my homework, right? That's the easy one to go. It's not my fault. Don't blame me. It basically blame shifting to say it's not my fault. Don't get me in trouble. Get the dog in trouble. I don't have to be held responsible for not doing the thing I said I said I would do or was supposed to do.
You weren't clear, teacher. I forgot my book. I totally didn't. I forgot it. I had something go on. I had a personal emergency.
So another definition is an excuse is a reason given to explain or justify a fault, a failure, or an action. Often, here's the key, to avoid responsibility or blame. So there's so many times in our life where it is our fault, it was our responsibility, and our first instinct as a human is to go, not my fault. Even like we go Genesis 3, whatever, 2 or 3. Did you eat the fruit? It was her fault. It wasn't me. So blame shifting and having excuses for why you did the wrong thing has been going on for a very, very long time. So we're in good company.
And even preparing for this episode, and Tara does the majority of the work on that, but even preparing for this episode, I found, that kind of that hair on the back of your neck.
Are you
getting uncomfortable
are you prepared?
Here? Especially when we talk about shifting the blame. And for some reason, I was like hoping we would stay with math because that's a lot easier to shift the blame. When we start talking about the way we interact with our husband or wife, that starts to change things.
Because there are times that we fail in our marriage. And today we'll be talking about, in general, like smaller, medium issues, but I think this extends to larger issues that we go, hey, this is a problem. You did that. And this is why it's a problem. And this was hurtful. Or you said you were going to do this and you didn't. Just letting you know that.
Yeah.
And you're not you, but in general, as people, we kind of go, and we start with the excuses of get off my case. This is why you shouldn't be on my case for this issue.
Yep. And many, many times there's a you with a pointed finger, right? Whether it's the person you're talking to or not, but it can be. I think as humans, it's just the natural default position that falls is like, but.
Yes, but.
Right.
It comes right there. I was, so even like with homework, right? Or in general, but I was too busy. I was too busy.
Do you have any idea what I'm doing?
Yeah. To do that, and I'm disappointed that didn't happen. I was too busy, comes out. Because we are very busy people. We have a lot going on. So it can feel like an easy one to grab off the tree.
Yeah. Or you didn't tell me.
Oh, yes,
you thought you did, but you didn't tell me.
I didn't know.
Or I didn't know.
I didn't know the assignment. I didn't get the assignment. That's why I didn't do it.
Yes.
If it's true, that could be a fair
The
response.
problem with that is I got to really think that out, because that's gaslighting if I'm not careful, right?
If you tell me the truth to say I didn't get the
you didn't
note.
tell me. Yes, I
Yes.
did. No. I think another one is that I tried and it was just too hard.
Like
It was
homework.
too
Why didn't you do the
difficult.
assignment?
Right.
I couldn't. It was
Right.
too hard. So but this element, like I just didn't want to try, or I didn't. It just got hard. Like you asked me to do this thing, or I failed, and there are things in life that are really hard for us, and so we just don't do it because it's too hard.
It's too hard. And there, to be honest with you, there's other things I'd rather be doing than something that's too hard.
And so,
And then sometimes, just to camp out there for a minute, I think sometimes the problem is not that it's too hard and not that I didn't necessarily accomplish it, but that I was unwilling or too prideful.
yes,
My pride got in the way of me saying, this is too hard. I don't know how to do this.
So I ask you to repair the sink because it's leaking and I can't wash dishes, whatever. And I ask you, you don't get it done. You're like, too hard. Couldn't
Right.
figure it out. It's like, come on.
But did you call a plumber? Did you
even
No, I'll figure it out
think?
eventually.
Yes.
I just need some
Yes.
time on it.
Yes.
I think those types of things, fixing something around the house or putting something together. I mean, we've had instructional books for kids' toys for our whole life. Just getting stuff put together and all of that. Those are things that can lead to strife and arguments and all of that. But if you don't get it done, disappointment. Then you start talking about things within the marriage of things applying to.
I asked you not to say that to me. I
Yes.
don't like when you talk that way. I was hurtful when you dismissed my idea. I was hurt. I was hurt when you spoke that way. All these different things, and we bring them up to each other. Sometimes they're direct, sometimes they're indirect. And I think for us, that excuse sometimes, I guess we'd call it an excuse, was
Yeah.
this like, well, honey, my past. Now you wouldn't always say my past, but like, man, I'm feeling this way, and the childhood issues were like just front and center for you. So that's why I reacted the way I did.
Well,
So it kind of came up to like my past as an excuse for why you're acting a certain way.
when I learned the phrase, I'm triggering. And the sad thing is there was a lot of truth to it.
Yes.
There was a lot of truth to it. And we did an episode, I think it was early on.
Yes.
It was like one of those podcast
Yep.
episodes where you're like, we're getting this out early.
It's-
It was number 5, I
Yes.
think.
And why is it always your past?
And Tara, to put that in full disclosure, long before we did the podcast, you had asked me this question years before, and that's where that came from, is when are you just being a jerk? You know, because you felt, and I'm putting words in your mouth, I should actually just ask you how you felt. Why did you ask that question? Joe, is this your past, or are you just being a jerk?
When you're irrationally angry about something and unable to like have a conversation about something without being overly reactive, if there's a level of intensity in your feelings, and then later you're like, okay, I really did overreact. That, you always, I think, would say, I'm sorry, but like, it's my past, like basically going, there's all these ugly feelings and stuff going on from my childhood that showed up here. And there's some truth to that, but I think I never got from you going, I was feeling lazy and tired,
That's
and
right.
I just wanted to like get you to be quiet. I don't know.
Yeah,
Just
I
any
was
other
a jerk.
selfish reason
Yeah.
was never part of the picture. It was like the whole like, I'm a victim, right? Like I'm dealing with all of this pain. I'm I'm suffering right now, so therefore I'm exempt. I'm excused from the assignment.
And it wasn't to be exempt. It was honestly,
No, but
my
that's how it
heartbeat.
came out,
yes,
right?
exactly. My heartbeat was to try to help you understand why I think this happened.
and we took us a while
It didn't
to-
disqualify me from being it didn't say I wasn't a jerk. It was just saying, hey, the real problem was whenever you would overreact, you had no excuse.
Yes.
So you were just being a jerk.
Yes.
So why is it that, and I understand how this works now. When we had this month-long or year-long conversation, whatever that was, about
Untangling that.
talking this out, and I began to fully understand what you were saying, it was mind-blowing. It's like, okay, you're right. When you do something, you can literally be labeled a jerk.
or I bother you in whatever way. And
When I am a jerk, I can be labeled, well, it's my past.
yes.
And so that was such a huge step in our healing process of looking at that. And that's where a lot of work is involved. I need to really evaluate that and look at that and say, okay, is this legitimately, and even if it is a triggering instance, it still doesn't give me the right to be a jerk.
It's a reason, but it's not an excuse.
Yes.
Because a reason saying, here's why I'm reacting this way. An excuse is, I'm not responsible for that. And I think that's where I'm going. Like, you can have a reason. And I think even talk about homework, Joe, we talked before about your year in high school when you were your own guardian and you were trying to finish school, not doing so well because you were still coming out of an extremely, extremely abusive situation and you were trying to keep your head above water. So literally for you, doing the homework was a little bit more than you could handle. And it was not your priority. Your priority was like surviving. Yeah, surviving. And so there's that time, I know that you had some teachers that were gracious of that to go like, there's a reason he's not applying himself in class. There's a reason why he's not discussing with us. There's a reason why his homework's not getting done. And it's actually a really good reason. Like, I understand. Now, it doesn't mean you're not accountable for your attitudes, right? And your behavior, but it does help you to go, what's going on with this young man who's not doing any of the work or not seem to be, okay, gotcha. He just came out of a whole lot of really ugly time in his life. So,
And in full disclosure, I was doing some of the work.
You were, but not, you weren't the top student in class, and neither were you motivated
well,
to.
and in full disclosure, Tara's talking about my senior year. I had been disowned. I was on my own. I was
18.
I was 18. Yeah. Instead of blowing off high school, I'd lost a year of high school in the mess of my life. I had lost that year, and so but I felt like a high school diploma was important. I felt like I needed that high school diploma. I really wanted to get that done. And so I was living with a family who was helping me, providing me a place and stuff so that I could finish school. But then there's this other part of me that went, no one's even going to show up to my graduation anyway. In fact, I never even went to my graduation because I knew no one would show up. So there was a part of me while I'm in school every day going, what is the point of all of this? What does this matter? And being your own guardian can be a real difficult detriment because you can give yourself an early dismissal. You can call off.
You can
give
excuse yourself.
a late. So I think what the teachers saw, and I had a couple of teachers who pulled me aside a couple of times that year and just spoke some wisdom into my life. Not that it mattered to me in that moment, but it showed me that they cared. And I think what they saw was he's trying. He doesn't even have to be here, but he's here.
Right. He doesn't have all the tools he needs to succeed.
And so it's helped me to be more compassionate for others when you see someone react or act in a certain way to realize maybe there's more at play there.
When we talk about like, it's my past or there's these extenuating circumstances at home, I think we come to that differently though. Hey, you're right. I didn't do my homework. Here's what's going on. This and then that vulnerability piece. And rather than going, don't get in my face, don't get in my business, just give me a pass. I think we want a pass. That's different than being vulnerable to say, here's why I didn't get my homework done. And this is hard to share. This is what I'm struggling with.
Here's something in our marriage homework that I appreciate about you, Tara, is you are extremely patient. And what I mean by that is there are many times that I could not truly articulate. It was such a mess inside my head. I couldn't articulate what it was I was experiencing or feeling. And you helped me very patiently and meticulously untangle that of pulling those pieces apart. And without your help, I don't even think I honestly, I mean, obviously God gets all the credit, but I don't think I'm able to do that. So I think when we look at our husband or wife, sometimes, especially when there's a history, right? When we have all of this past that we're looking at, we can put labels on each other.
Well, I think it's balancing what we're talking about is balancing this compassion with accountability. So I think we can always go to one extreme or the other. Oh, I have compassion for you. You've had a bad past, so I don't want to. Oh, it's okay if you don't do it. It's okay if you don't. Oh, you have a bad past. That's not really you want to live your whole life like that. Versus accountability going. Now, ultimately, we're accountable to God. He's like, okay, I judge behaviors. He's the one who's going to decide, right? Like understand our hearts and decipher our motivations. And ultimately we're accountable to him. But in marriage, we're also accountable to each other to say, yes, Joe, I know you have this past, but this is what happened. This is how it affected me. You didn't do the work. And what happened that you didn't do the work? And I think it's hard to hold each other to account But ultimately, that's how I think how we grow our trust is being accountable for our actions and not just blame shifting for whatever we want to do.
And being as honest as we can in the moment. So there were many moments, if you want to, just as a practical look, there were many moments where I literally could not say to Tara, this is what I'm feeling. This is what is happening. I did not know. And I literally had to say, I don't have an answer for you. I don't have an excuse for you. I don't have a reason for this, but this is what happened. And then being able to kind of dissect that together. And there is a lot of work involved in doing that. But I can tell you from the seat that I now sit in, it is so worth it. It's amazing.
Well, that first step,
always
I feel
work
like
to do too. We're nowhere
the
close
first,
to
and this
being.
is for you and for me, Joe. I think you led the way really well with this for me to follow too. Is that first step of owning up to the truth, right? Even if you need compassion and grace, whatever, to say, you're right, I didn't do the homework. You're right, I failed here. And that, like those three sentences, saying you're right is a hard thing to get out. There's your assignment. You're right, I didn't do that. Hey, honey, didn't you say blah, 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 blah? You're right, I didn't do it. And like letting there be a pause before you go on to, because blah, 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 blah. It's just, you're right, I didn't do it. You're right.
What's worked really well in our relationship, Tara and I, is that Tara, if I have blown it, I'll say, you are so right. I am so sorry. I didn't get that done. Then, after some pause, and you've had time to process that, you will then ask me, well, what happened?
What's going on?
And then I'm not giving an excuse anymore. I'm actually literally saying,
this is what's going on. Or it could have been like, I just got distracted and forgot.
Like, emptying the dishwasher is a big one.
Like, I just got distracted and I forgot. And that is a reason. Now, it's not an excuse, but you can still say, I forgot. And that's legitimate. Like, okay, that's what happened. And then I say, I forgive you. But versus going, I'm not responsible for that anymore. To say, no, I really should have gotten it done. I didn't. And I forgot. So I think learning to own up, just to say, you're right, I didn't do the homework, not blame it on the dog, will go miles in learning to not shift the blame.
It's really good. And we're back to your accountability, primarily to God. I like Hebrews 4:13. It says, no creature is hidden from his sight. We're all naked and exposed to the eyes of him to whom we must give an account. So when I stand before Jesus, I'm not going to be able to have an excuse to say, hey,
that's this problem, though.
The baseball game was on. Or,
but that phrase right there should make you shake a little bit. This idea of going naked and exposed. So I think when we're talking about a failure that we've had, whether in our life or in our marriage, it is an exposure. Because guess what? You're not perfect. You're not God. You're not all that. You have a flaw in you, maybe a large flaw. And I think learning to say, I'm okay with having that exposed. Again, first to God, to say, God, this is my sin. This is my fault. This is my shortcoming. God, you're right. This is not good and healthy. Learning to be naked and exposed in our failures is so difficult.
It's really tough. Here's a couple of things I've learned, and these are the takeaways for today, and how do we stop giving excuses. And I just want to lead with this disclaimer that I am far from perfect in this, and I get it wrong probably way more than I get it right. But I have learned that when I own up to what I've done or not done without an excuse, it typically ends there. It typically, whatever conflict has arose out of that, if I say, Tara, and especially when I look you in the eye, if we're not on the phone or whatever, Tara, I'm really sorry. I blew that. I didn't get it done. And sometimes I'll ask in my own way, but how do I make this right? Right? How do I fix this? But once I do that, then there's not a whole lot of places it can go. Now, if I lead with, well, I couldn't get that done because I had to do this.
You didn't tell me loud enough, and I thought you meant tomorrow.
All of a sudden, that conversation goes on so long, and it gets so like, what did we just spend all this time doing? So I've learned, number one, if I can just own it, when I'm able to, and God's able to help me with that, on the moments that I own it, would you agree with that?
Yes. Well, like,
it just ends it.
Even issues of the podcast. Hey, did you get that done?
Yeah.
And there's things that I'm responsible for, and there's things you're responsible for. So we have to work in tandem. And there's times like, hey, honey, I asked you for that. And like, I didn't get it done, babe.
Yeah.
Done, period. And I could say, also, and then same thing. Hey, honey, did you get that part of the podcast edited and get that email off? I did not get that done, honey. And it's like, okay, I can work with that.
Yeah.
I can work with that. If he says to me, honey, you're right, I didn't get it done. Then it's like, well, what do we do from here?
Yeah.
How do we solve
Sometimes you're
the
like,
problem?
you do realize you only have a couple of hours, or
Yes,
you do realize.
Tuesday comes quickly.
But what I'll try to lead with is, I will have that done. I will plan. I try never to say I will, but I plan to have that done. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah.
I will have that done in the next hour or whatever. And then you usually will follow up. Is there anything I can do to help? And I think if that's done sarcastically,
yes.
that's not good. But when it's done well, so that the first thing is, if I can own it right away without making an excuse, it really does trim it off, and it helps to move in the direction of problem solving.
Add that pause. Own it.
Yeah.
And just pause. Let it just breathe before you add your little list of things. But it's really that repentance and humility that leads the way.
Well, the number 2 thing is humility is the way out. And you and I are watching stuff develop nationwide and worldwide of people being exposed for things they've done wrong.
Naked and exposed. Yep.
And we're watching them. If they would just own it, it would be the end. It'd be
Right.
done.
I did it.
Humility would, in fact, that's a phrase we stole from another pastor, because humility is the way out. And it's such a great life lesson. I don't know why we as humans think if we just cover it up somehow and keep
Right.
covering it up, we're going to be okay.
5 years later, you're still talking about it.
The Bible says the truth will find you out. And so that verse makes me shake.
Right.
Like, the truth will find you
And
out.
confess your sins.
Yes.
And he's faithful to forgive. So we have access to all this forgiveness and access to grace and compassion too. But we access all that through repentance and humility. So whatever it is in your marriage that you go, man, this is an area I am failing. The way out is first, you're right, I'm failing here.
I
sorry.
find, and right or wrong, as a husband, Tara, when you are humble toward me, I'm way more compassionate and quicker. Like, I start going, okay, God, what do I need to do here? What can I do? There's just something about true, and not fake humility,
It's
but
really
true
difficult to-
humility. I feel like, and again, human nature is to defend ourselves. I get that. And I still fail at this miserably. But in those moments when I don't defend myself, even when I'm not wrong, when I don't, even with you or anyone else, I see something beautiful that God does in that. And he makes it right somehow. I don't know how he does it. So yeah, so owning it and humility, those are the...
Repenting and willing to go
I
there.
have a
Instead
feeling
of,
that Tara's going to say episode
Yes.
206 later.
You can't
No, I'm
say the
just kidding.
dog did my homework, right?
Yes.
Teacher, Mrs. So-and-so, I am sorry I didn't get my assignment done. You know, then you almost like, hey, is there any chance I get that done by tomorrow?
Yeah.
And usually the teacher's like, okay, I can work with that. Now, sometimes it goes too bad, so sad, 0. That's happened to me before too, where it's like, you just didn't get it, but still owning it, it's my fault.
Wait a minute.
And
You
there's-
got a 0?
I had some strict teachers.
I don't know that I knew that. I think I'm learning
I
something
had a
about
strict
you.
teacher, and if like you didn't like put your name on the paper, you got a 0.
I do know this. I don't know
That was
if
painful.
Tara won't me share this publicly. I guess I could always edit it out. But I do know you failed one class.
Yes, we talked about that in our class about failure. I have failed
Yeah.
before. I don't like that feeling.
No.
I don't like the feeling of failure. I don't like it, so we run from it, right?
So I think I knew that. And that, of course, was... You could have argued that wasn't your fault.
Yes, it wasn't my fault.
But you owned it,
but it
which is
was.
great. It was your fault.
It was my fault.
I'm not sure. I'm trying to I'm trying to think through all of our conversations about school. And Tara, I honestly am not sure I knew that you literally had gotten a 0. I kind of like this.
Yeah, it was
because I've gotten
but see, it's
zeros.
technicality. I did the project, but I didn't
Are you
follow all the
making
directions.
excuses?
Yes, I didn't know.
Did the dog eat it?
I didn't know. I'm sorry.
Love to hear from you. Has a dog eaten your homework for real? Have you ever used that excuse? Are there times where you know in the moment you're using an excuse and you're defending yourself where you could have just gone the other way? Or maybe you have other techniques that work really well. Would love to hear from you. You can email us Tara, Tara, at behindoursmiles.com.
See you next time.